Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're gonna be discussing how to land on the perfect commissary kitchen in Florida. If you wanna learn more about the food truck industry, make sure you join our Facebook group, Food Truck for Starters. And for all the future videos, click that like and subscribe button. That way you can keep up with us. So what is a commissary? A commissary is something in Florida that's defined as a kitchen where you can actually prepare your food and store your food, or retain fresh water and dump your dirty water. So commissary kitchens do vary state by state, and the purposes of the use vary as well. So make sure that when you're going to apply for your food truck licensing, you ask them what is required when it comes to the commissary kitchen. So different kinds of commissaries that you can find here in Florida are gas stations, plazas. You also have other locations like RV parks, storage units, or even a food truck park. There's different kinds of commissaries, and depending on the purpose of your use will determine what best fits for you. So a lot of you are probably wondering, okay, I found a commissary or I have an idea of what I want to do. What is my budget? How much does it cost for me to park here or store my food? This price varies. Why? Because depending on the use, again, will determine how much you're actually going to be paying. So I've seen people who have landed on a location where they didn't have to pay anything at all, and they allow them to park there as long as they paid for the utilities only. Then there are other locations that charge you like rent. So it varies between $0 to $2,000 depending on where you're at. It also depends on location and your use. If you're gonna be utilizing water, of course you're gonna be paying a percentage, or you're gonna be paying the whole cost, as well as electricity. If you don't have a generator and you plan to hook up to the building, then you definitely wanna consider separating that, because that is something that can be an added cost on top of the rent. Keep in mind that the owner of the property has the final say, but there's always room for negotiation. So that's something you want to consider when you're trying to pitch a cost. So let's talk about how we get permitted. So a lot of you might wonder what it takes in order to park somewhere when it comes to the commissary location. So let's say, for example, you land on a gas station like Chevron, and you see that and you're like, man, that's a great location. I always recommend make a list of all the addresses that you like, the hot spots, make a list of those. And then once you get to that part, then you're gonna wanna go ahead and look up things on property appraisers. But first, I would contact the county. So if you're in, for example, Seminole County, and you contact them and you say, hey, there's a bunch of addresses that I wanted to consider in regards to parking my food truck there. Am I allowed to do so? And you ask them if that's within the county. They will also tell you if it's within the city. If you land in the city district, then they'll tell you whatever the codes are. So for example, Lake Mary is a city that's inside Seminole County. You would have to contact Lake Mary zoning in order to find out what the requirements are. And unfortunately, from my knowledge and from what I know and experience, Lake Mary does not allow any kind of food trucks. But if you go into the city of Sanford, which is within Seminole County, they do allow food trucks, and they have their own steps as to how to get permitted. So I always recommend get your list together, contact the county, determine if it's within the county or the city zoning. You contact the department and ask them, is it allowed? And if it is, what are the requirements? So I know it sounds a little bit complicated when it comes to finding a commissary location, and I know it gets a little overwhelming, but to keep you at ease, I also offer this as a service to you. So let me know if you have any questions, and you can always check out my website at dreamsgonemobile.com. But if you decide you want to do this yourself, again, make your lists, get the zoning map, because every city and county has their own zoning map, and they'll show you on there where the lines end. And make sure you contact the owners once you've done all the research that you need in order to get started. Now the final step, once you've found your location or multiple locations, is now contacting the owners. I personally feel that if you're gonna be driving around and looking for locations, I would definitely get in contact with the owners in person if you could. So if you're gonna go into a gas station, or if you're gonna go into a plaza, speak with the owner of the building. Sometimes when you go into a plaza, there's multiple buildings that are within one, and so you have to find out who the owner is of the actual property. And you can find that on property appraisers when you're doing your research on where it lands when it comes to the city or the county. Once you get in contact with the owner, keep in mind that all they're looking for is those dollar signs. It's nothing in life is free, so just keep that in mind. If you do land on something where someone's gonna help you out, that's amazing. You can always pitch, hey, can I get the first 30 days for free and see how it works out for me? Or if I can get half off of the rent. It just kind of depends on how they're filling you out. You can also do like a little taste tester as well. Keep all those things in mind, but you want to be friendly with this person because again, you both are benefiting each other. It's not one or the other. And keep in mind, when it comes to the utilities, what are you going to be using that place for? Are you going to solely be using it for the water? Will you need water connection? Are you going to need the electricity connection? You have to keep all those things in mind, and also speak to other food truck owners and see what they do when it comes to parking their food truck at a location. So once you and the owner have come to an agreement on a number and what you're going to be utilizing the location for, now it's time to sign a lease. Leases can be month to month, they can be on a yearly basis, they can be even 10-year basis. I always recommend that if you're going to sign a lease, that you have an attorney or a legal professional look at it to make sure that there's nothing missing, because in the event if something happens, it doesn't fall back on you. And always make sure you carry your business insurance in hand as well. Thank you everyone for watching my YouTube video. If you like this, make sure you click that like and subscribe button and share this with all your friends, because I know a lot of people do struggle when it comes to finding a commissary kitchen. So I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you next week.